We are repository, and we have files, okay, source files that have been found, and nothing, no rubbish, okay, no binary files, executables, debugging, etc. The next step, and we say, the next step, okay, is to commit them, okay, changes to be committed, right? Files that we have added and that we can make now a commit about them. But we have also can go back and it say, if you want to go back, yes, remove some files, okay, to and stage. Okay, but this we leave it from now because this is not the usual thing to do. The usual thing to do, the workflow, the usual workflow is git init, git add, well, copy the git ignore, git add dot, okay, and now git commit, git commit. We say git commit, we configured to pop up to launch the default editor to edit the message of the commit. Every commit must have a message, yeah, a descriptive message. And so I configured my system with the installation to launch, to associate Git with Notepad++. Okay, you can do it with the editor, the text editor you want. And here we say a message. We said a structure of the commit messages. We will talk a lot more about this later in another lesson next week. But this is very important. Okay, the messages of the information we write in the commits is most important. Of the same importance as the code we have written. Okay, so it must have a first line with a global description. Okay, and in the next an empty line or blank line, and here I start writing. Okay, blah blah blah. All that we have done. The much information. We say that the commits, when I say the history of commits, this I must be reading like a book, like a comic, yes, about the development of my application. Okay, here our applications have been simple, but it would be like that. Okay, it would be like that. For instance, summary of what we have done here in our two projects. Okay. Created first Visual Studio 2019 solution with a console and a WinForms project. Okay, and we say now, okay, this is the first, well, we have created a solution in Visual Studio and added two projects. Punto. The first project is a console app, okay, that shows a hello message dot. Okay, the second project is a Windows Forms app that shows a hello message when we click a button. Okay, you have seen I almost spended more time writing the summary and the description than creating the project and writing the code. This is how we should do it. Okay, 50%, 50%. We write the code, we work on the applications, but we write the documentation. This is documentation, and this is part of this module and part of your job. They are going to pay you for that also. Okay? And they're going to hire you for that. Hire, you know what's hiring? Van a contratar por esto. Now you have to start building your portfolio. Yes, your portfolio is your curriculum nowadays. And your portfolio for programmers, for developers nowadays is your GitHub repository. Your GitHub applications that you have done, your GitHub projects that you have done, and they're going to look not for the application, they are going to look your code, but they are going to look also how do you communicate, right? And how do you communicate? It's here. Right? It's here in the wiki, in the README file of the project. Yes, if the project is well documented, okay, if it's easy to install it, to follow the instructions, if they're gonna hire you, if they know that you are gonna be working fine with other people, because projects are multidisciplinary. There's a lot of people, a lot of programmers working in a GitHub in a project of whatever code. Okay, and we communicate doing this, doing the commits, doing pull requests that we will see later, and we have every time we have to see what I need to inform and say to the other people what I have done, what works, what doesn't work, etc. Right? So we have to know how to write properly. Technical documentation, and not just say first commit. No, first commit. No, what have you done? What is in this commit? Okay, because if I want to revert to that commit, I go back to that commit. What it's in the next commit? What's the history? Yeah, what's the branch? Where are you? Okay, all the information you can. Don't miss it. Okay, you have to. We will talk about this. How to be done the information, because it has to be concise also. Okay, no, you don't write here your a lot of words. Lots of words is not the same as being concise or saying what you want to say. Okay, short sentences but descriptive, concise. Yeah, but you say everything with the less letters possible. But you have to say everything. Okay, right. We will practice this along the year and with all our projects. Okay, they can save it. And I will be marking it, and I will be reviewing it, and I will be saying you have to improve your communication skills, your writing skills. This is not like correct. So you spend time on the communication, all right, in the writing this. When I close Notepad, okay, you say that MinGW64 is waiting here, waiting for your editor to close the file. When I close it, it comes back and it makes the commit. Okay, root master, branch master, root commit. Here we have the ID of the commit created and the first line, okay, which is the heading of the message. And I say, okay, create. Here it is doing insertions, okay, 17 files changing in the database. See Git as a database, which is every time I do a commit, it makes a copy of all the files which are being tracked, which are being staged and tracked, okay, in the state where they are. Yes. Now, if I change a file from here, yeah, from program one CS, here, wherever place, yes, solo, hello, okay, this simple blank space. Okay, we'll say, so I say git status, now still nothing on brand master, okay? But this simple blank space here, wherever character, wherever modification I save it now, and see now git status, you see, yep, and it detects. Say, from the last commit, it's saying, I have detected that from the last commit, yes, one file has been modified. Yes? If I create if I create a new file, wherever, I create a readme.md, okay? I say git status, there are untracked files, yes? Now there is one modified file What are the differences between the project, the repository that was before in the last commit and now that there is one file that already existed that has been modified and a file that is new, that is untracked. So that is not in the repository, so it's not in the stage. Okay, it has never been included in the repository. Yes, so like at the beginning that we have no files in the repository, right? So what do we have to do? Okay, all the changes, so it's keeping track of all the changes that are happening in our project, in our source code. Yes, and saying, okay, one file has been modified, another file has been added, and it's untracked. Okay, I want to include them, so I have to do the same. They are in red, so they are in with stage or in with the state, in the first state, no? The untracked or changed. Yeah, so they are untracked. So I say git add all the changes that have been passed from the first commit, from the last commit on the first one. Okay, git add dot. I say git status again. Yeah, and I say okay, now they are ready. They are staged. They are in the second state, in the second level, the second box of Git, the state machine. That is, the modified file is ready to be committed and a new file is ready to be committed. Do you want to commit them? So you have to write git commit. Okay, let's make another backup or copy or screenshot of how the state of my repository is now with the new changes I have added from the last commit. Yeah, so I made a commit and I have to do the same. Okay, I made some changes to practice. Okay, so what we have done, modified file, inserting a blank space, and I have created a readme.md file. Yes? This should be more precise, but now I have made some changes to practice, okay? Should be more, but the action we have done now is not very clear. Okay, made some changes to practice, and these are the changes we have made. Good, so I save it, close my editor, and there, okay, two files are changing, one insertion, one deletion, insertions and deletions, okay, are in the database. In the database, that internal database of Git, the Git system. Yeah. We see that the working tree, the working area is clean. Git status. If it's on brand master, nothing to commit. Working tree clean. Yes, this is like we have no changes. We have nothing. We are okay. And let's introduce another command. That is git log. What is git log? To see the history of commits. Yes, and say okay, there are two commits. Now you see in yellow here. Yes, this one. There are two commits. This one with its message and this one. Two commits. All right, this is the first commit and this is the first commit. Every commit has an identifier. We will need this if we want to switch from commit and commit. Yep. So we don't have to memorize it, but we have to know that this exists. So this is a list of the history. Yeah, we can go from there. And he's saying us that we are in here. Yes, the head, which is the pointer to where we are now, in which commit we are now, is in master. Yes, we are in the last commit. This is the usual state. Okay, don't think about it very much now. Okay, yes, it's like we have to make 2 commits and we are in this one. Yes, good. We will be seeing this. And all right. What is the next point here? If I wanted to go back to this commit, there are some things I can do. Okay, to revert. This is to revert to this commit. Okay, it will undo the changes I have done. Okay, but I'm not going to do that. This I leave you as an exercise. Right? You search by Google. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do the usual workflow to do that. I don't want you liaros. I don't want to liate you very much today. Okay, but to understand what's a commit, yes, there are points where the changes and the evolution of my project are stored, the information. Okay. Good. Now, I have my repository in the local, in the local repository. I want now to share it with others or to upload it to a remote repository. Okay. What do I need? Well, I need first a remote repository. Okay. So for that, I have to go to GitHub, log in with the account I have configured. Yes. Which account I have configured, and we will see if you have problems with accounts later. Well, I have signed in GitHub here, and how do I know? We said the other day which account I'm in. It was git config user.email. If I say this, it's telling me, okay, in this repository is configured to, by default, okay, work with your GitHub account spdby@paucasesnoves.cat. So, okay, we are spdby, we are signed in as spdby, so we are fine, yes? And now I create a new repository. Yep. Repository name, very important also. I will be telling you during all the year how you name your things. Very, very important, of the utmost importance. What you name, what's the name that you put to your things? It's gonna save you a lot of documentation. Yes, if you already write a descriptive name that it talks by itself, you will not have to explain later what's in there. Okay, so I'm going to use the same name here, my first SPDY project. Okay, my first SPDY project is a good name for this repository. It's a descriptive name. Okay, yeah. Okay, it has to be a short name. I can't say here my first SPDY project, hello world, console, and no, not that long. Okay, but my first SPDY project is all right. But I know this is a first project for the module SPDY. Yes, and I can write a description. In the description, I can say, okay, this project is for, all right. But anyway, a descriptive name, short but descriptive. I can make it public or private. We will see how we work with private. By default, you leave it public, so everybody's got access. Okay, and we leave this alone. Okay, we don't choose a README and a git ignore or a license, because otherwise we will be creating conflicts between our local repository and our remote. When there are differences between the local repository and the remote, and those differences are not being synchronized, okay, we will have merge conflicts. We will see some of them later, the most common, and see how to solve them. Okay, but now we create the empty repository. Okay, because we want to upload. We have here, yes, in this repository, everything to here, from here, okay, from the local to the remote. And if there will be something in the remote, first what we should have to do is to bring what is in the remote here, right? But so now when we create the repository from an existing project or local repository, we leave everything empty, blank, nothing. Okay, we create the repository, and okay, here we have okay this very first page says that there is nothing in the repository. You see, we are in the code size, in the code part or pestaña, the code tab, and we are seeing here the URL of the repository. Okay, so this is what we have to use. Okay, this is the reference of our remote repository, the URL, and it's usually an HTTPS. Sorry. Okay, and we say github.com, our user, our account name, SPDY, and the name of the project, followed by Git. Yes? So, all right, with this, see that it's already saying, or create a new repository on the command line. Okay, do this. Okay, we have already done this since here. Well, more or less, without adding the README. Well, the README, yes, we have added it, but not by the command line, but by the WinForms UI. And it's saying, okay, and I say, oh, there's to add the origin. Okay, I see there's here. Yes. This you have to learn by memory, okay, to memorize it, because, well, you will memorize it because we want to use it. All right, so I have my repository reference. So I have to say now I want to configure, to synchronize this repository, which is local, with this one, which is remote. Yeah, and they are still not linked by anything. There are now two different repositories. They have the same name, but that doesn't mean anything, okay? So for this, we add what we call the remotes. A remote is like an online link, right, that I am going to bind, que voy a unir, voy a declarar una relación entre los dos diciendo, vale, este de aquí, este repositorio, this local repository, belongs to or is associated with this remote repository, okay? And the remote is this. So I'm going to say git remote add, okay? If I say git remote only, it will list what remotes are configured. There are no ones. So I say git remote add, okay? And I say origin. Okay, this name is usually origin, okay? It can be whatever other name, okay? We will be referring to this name. Is how are we gonna call this remote, okay, in our local repository, yes? The origin is gonna be like a nickname for the remote repository in our local repository to work with, right? You will see when we push, when we later say push, we reference origin, yes? Origin is all of this. I shift insert. No. Insert. No. Wait. Copy. And with insert. Yes. Okay. So with this, I am saying git remote add a new remote and link it with this repository, call it origin as a nickname, and this is the address to the remote. Okay, if no news, good news. No messages, it's good. If I say now git remote, it says there's one remote which is called origin. Okay, I could remove it, I could modify it, I could unlink it, wherever. It's listing. Now, what do I have to do? Okay, I have my local and my remote, but they are still, okay, the code, the files are not here. These files in here, okay, they should be to repository, all right. To synchronize, both repositories, okay, we do what is called a push, okay? So we push and pull are gonna be, okay, how do we synchronize both repositories? Okay, I know I have made changes in this in my local repository, I'm going to upload them. Okay, so to upload them, it's called push. If you know the translation of push, and a push what? Push to origin, to the remote origin, our branch master. Yes, because we are working on the branch master. See here, origin main. This has changed, I don't know, but we are here in branch master, unless something has changed here. Well, there exists no branch now, still here. So, okay, master. That's you. This is only in the beginning. This is to. Okay, if you see the documentation, it's a bit messy, but this is only the first time we push something, okay? It's to link all the files together and to initialize the remote repository with the same files, etc., okay? This does you, from now on, we just have to do it one time, okay? In the first time we push, the first push we do to the already to the just linked repository. Okay. Later, the other pushes are just git push origin master, git push origin master. Okay. So push the branch master to the remote origin. Now click. And first time, okay, first time you use git in here, it asks you for your credentials of it's communicating with the server. All right, so I have to add my credentials. I don't remember my password. I have to check it out. Just a minute, please. Pause. No pause recording. Sorry. Okay. All right. And I say login. Login failed. Fucking up. Open SSH. Username for. Okay. SP. Username SPDBI. Open SSH. Password. Let me see. If now it's working. Okay, now it's good. I wrote something wrong. All right? And this is what usually appears in the normal pushes. Yes? Counting objects, 27 objects, so there are 27. Compressing, data compression, writing objects. Okay, 11.36 kilobytes. Good. We have to check that we have no big, because if we have a lot of megabytes, if we have megabytes, it means we are not pushing only text or source code. We are pushing binary files that we don't need them. All right, so remote resolving, branch master, branch master, set up to track remote branch. Okay, set up to track remote branch master from origin. Perfect. And see now, if I reload this page, okay, in code, there's no more the welcome page or the instructions page, but my code. Yep. Good. So this is now the workflow. If I do now another, what will be the workflow now from now? Just working on my project from both from here or from Visual Studio, okay, message box or in whatever thing. So I come here, I make a modification, for instance, the name, the text of the button, text with the control, I don't know why the hell. Button 1. No, this is the form. I want to select the button 1 now. I'm selecting the button 1. Text, click me. Yes, I have done modifications. Just with doing that, I have done modifications in the code. Yes, somewhere over there, I will show you later in the former lessons. Okay, there's been a modification. So I save it. Okay, I don't need to execute it. Okay, and I go to and say in my local repository, git status. I say what? File has been modified. Okay, now we know which file has been modified just for changing a property of a component. Yes, for one, the signers, yes, this one. I will show you what's the content of this file. Yeah. Okay, so what do I have to do? I have to git add. Okay, git add all the changes, all the modifications. Dot git status, like always. Okay, it's ready for commit. Git commit. Okay, message, okay, added, say, change the text of the button. We have changed this, okay, and we have checked that there was a modified file. We have added it to the. We have staged it, and we have committed. Yes, git commit, we have set the file, and now git status, what it is saying on branch master. Your branch read, I always read the messages is ahead of origin master by 1 commit. What is origin master? Our remote repository. Yes, origin master is this. That means, that is saying, okay, this in here, okay, if I say the history, code, master, okay. If I say here git log, okay, here are 1, 2, 3 commits, yes. Root of the remote repository, okay, git here, like here, okay, there's a message like 2 commits, history, 2 commits. Yeah, I click and say, okay. Now, what's happening? They are not synchronized. Here we have 3 commits and there are 2 commits. Then, when I say git status, this is in your branch, our branch, which is our master branch, is ahead, va por delante de el remoto, ¿vale? Del repositorio remoto, que es origin, de la branch master en el repositorio remoto, que es, lo hemos llamado origin, en un commit, ¿vale? O sea, hay un commit más en nuestro repositorio local que en el remoto, ¿vale? ¿Por qué? Porque hemos hecho el commit, pero no hemos hecho el push, ¿vale? So, every time we do a commit, we should also do a push. If we are working alone and nobody else is working and pushing to this repository, you understand? Now we want to work alone, okay? If we were working with other people, maybe some other people has made some change, and we'll have to integrate or pull these changes into our code before pushing our changes, okay, to merging. But for now, forget about this. We are working alone. We know there has been no modification in Git in the remote repository, and we are sure, okay, we can push safely that the direction from the local to the remote repository is always like that. From local to remote, always pushes. Okay, we will see when we have to pull and when we have to synchronize. But we have to do see with push and origin master. You see now we don't need to use the dash u, okay? Just the first one, okay? We push, nothing else to, okay? And git status, without looking in here, I can know is up to date with origin master, okay? Both repositories, local and remote, are synchronized, are okay, are the same. In fact, if I update this, yeah, okay, I already have my 3 commits. All right. So this is the usual workflow that we are gonna start with, yes, and do exercises. Okay. Let's go in.